Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. In this one, I'll be covering how to install the ExtremeRate LED kit in a PS4 controller that is a version 2. Okay, so to start off, we'll go ahead and remove the 4 screws. Now that we have those removed, go ahead and squeeze on the side of the handles and push down on the bottom. Now that you have both halves separated, I like to just put a little shim in there to keep pressure on it. And then we're going to separate the last clip that is between the shell and the microphone port. So go ahead and grab your pry tool that they've included with the kit and firmly press it in between the microphone port and the bottom of the controller. Once that clip has been released, we'll take the pry tool and slide it up the side of the controller and release the clip by the L1 and R1. Okay, now that the back of the controller is fully separated, the easiest way I find to do this is to turn the controller counterclockwise and then put your middle finger on the inside of the ribbon cable and your thumb on the outside and firmly remove it. Now go ahead and set that aside. Also, I recommend you look at your L2 and R2 springs to make sure how they are arranged in case they pop loose during the process. Now to remove the battery, just give it a little bit of force to remove it, as there's double-sided tape underneath. Just wiggle the connector back and forth, and it should come right out. Now go ahead and remove the one screw, and the battery holder will come off. Okay, so now grab a pair of needle nose pliers or something to grab the touchpad ribbon cable with firmly and remove the ribbon cable. Now that you have the ribbon cable removed, you can simply remove the internals of the controller. Okay, so the first part that I'll have to switch in the controller will be the little bracket, as this one is a little bit smaller and it makes clearance for the flex PCB. This is pretty simple, as there's just one tab on either side, and with just a little bit of pressure it pops right up. So now we'll go ahead and place in all the clear buttons. The PS Home button that they've included with the kit is just clear, and there's like a cross plastic on the inside. Me personally, I like the PS logo on the stock button, and it has a white backing on it, so I'm just going to keep that in there as well, as the light will shine through a fair amount. So on these clear buttons, there's just one big tab and one small tab. If you take a look on the original buttons, there's actually one big tab and 3 small tabs, and they are all in different locations, so you can't mess the buttons up. So for the clear buttons, just make sure that the big one is in the correct location. So like I said, I'll go and insert the stock home button. You can do the clear if you like. And I'll go ahead and drop the D-pad in. And I gotta say, these buttons are definitely very well made. And then the touchpad. Okay, so now we'll remove the L2 and R2. Go ahead and pop off this long clip first. And then come over to the side and separate the little bracket. Once you have done that, set it aside and repeat the process on the other side. Now for the L1 and R1, just get your fingernail or something small underneath it, in between the piece of hard plastic. Lift up and pull out. Be careful not to break the little holding clips on either side either. Okay, now that those have been removed, go ahead and grab your tweezers and remove the two little rubber contact pads. Okay, so now we'll pop off both the analogs and we'll lay this PCB down. First we'll have to bend it in two spots so it'll fit in perfect. Now if you look closely at the top, there will be a line. Go ahead and bend it right on the line. And then over on the side, there's another line. Go ahead and bend that exactly on the line. Okay, now we'll pull the motherboard away from the plastic housing. To do that, there are 2 plastic clips on either side. Just put a little bit of pressure on both clips and then flip the circuit board over. Once you have the circuit board separated, we'll go ahead and install the flex board. The top of the cable will not go straight in the hole as it's too big, so you'll need to insert it from left to right. Once you have it all in place and the cable through the top properly, make sure everything is aligned correctly and clip in the 4 little clips that hold the original flex down. Now we'll go around to the back of the housing and make sure the part of the flex PCB that we just inserted through the hole goes over both of the little plastic posts. Be extremely careful with this, as there is no support around these holes, and if you rip one of these, this can cause major problems for your controller. Looks good. Once that PCB is back in place, make sure you go ahead and adjust the top of the flex strip so it sits flush with the housing. Now go ahead and put back the rubber contacts. L1 and R1 are extremely straightforward. They just slide in, but make sure that they press properly and that there is no interference. And as well, the L2 and R2 are extremely simple too. They just clip back into the bracket and then just click the trigger for the clip to pop back in place. Okay, now we'll go ahead and install the rings. Just move the adhesive plastic from the back. And place both rings right around the analog. I also recommend maybe a tiny little drip of super glue at the very top and at the very bottom. Okay, now that that is in place and everything looks nice, we'll go ahead and tuck these wires in real good and make sure that these 3 holes right above the analog, there's 2 above the left analog and 1 above the right analog. Make sure that those are visible all the way through, as posts will be going through those holes. And if you have a wire in between those, it will get pinched and your LED kit will not work. Put the clear analogs on and test fit, make sure nothing is touching. Okay, so once you're happy with how it feels, go ahead and drop the housing back in the faceplate. Now this ribbon cable technically does go on the other side of this post, but I find it a lot easier to connect if you put it on this side. Okay, now go ahead and put the battery holder back on. Okay, so now for the bottom of the controller. We'll go ahead and lift up on this white bracket. And then the clear plexiglass will lift up on the right side of it and then slide it to the right. The little white plastic for the light bar just pops out. And then we have one tiny little Phillips #1 screw in the bottom. Alright, so go ahead and grab your little charge port PCB included with the kit. And like most ribbon cables, this has the typical connector. Just lift up on the plastic. Insert the ribbon cable and then push down on the tab. Okay, now that we have that screwed down, we'll go ahead and install the 3 pieces for the light bar. Okay, so now all that is left is to make all the connections in the corresponding spots. We have the big ribbon cable in the motherboard. We have the small ribbon cable on the side. Now we'll attach the correct side of the charge port to the battery input of the PCB. And the battery on the opposite side. Now just go ahead and arrange your wires in the little side compartment so they do not get pinched when you close your controller. The operation instructions for the kit are as follows. So that's what she looks like. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Do you think it looks good? Do you think it looks terrible? The kit seems super straightforward and easy to use. just gotta hold L1 and square for 5 seconds to turn it on in order to select the region on the controller that you want to use. Then tap right on the D-pad to select the color. Once you've picked the color, go ahead and hold L1 and square for 1 second, and then you will move on to the next region of the controller. The PS button is a little darker than I thought, but it still looks good in a dark room. So as always, if this video helped or interests you, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Have a good one.
Rolling another, I'm stuck in my seat from the whole control of my speech. Yeah, I've been trying to get off this couch for a minute and a whole damn week. No kidding, I'm skinny, I cannot eat. Got a million motherfuckers that depend on me. Yeah, every friend in my family. From a girl, every fan I meet myself. I'm too on till I'm too off. Come down to make new thoughts, like jumping off of that rooftop. Hold my camera when I do nothing to make moves based on my mood drops. Like who's lost? Like who's lost? It's yo, steadily killing me, running my brain full of shame. I don't wanna lose it. Full of stage, trying to find my pain. I see the sun coming out of that rain. Mind say really not tame. I'ma never slow down. I'ma never behave. Stuck inside this prison, inside this cage. It's taking over. Yeah, I'm a slave for you. I'm a slave for you. Ripping harder, more less. Never stop, no rest. Till the stress is breath in my chest. Till it's diamonds wrapping my neck. Progress to a god from a goddamn mess. Hopeless, more tests. More blessed. Dug deep down, trying to find my best. Find a beast, had to kill a conquest. I'm next. I'm too on till I'm too off. Come down, make new thoughts. Like jumping off of that rooftop. Hold my camera when I do nothing to make moves based on my mood drops. Like who's lost? Like who's lost? It's yo, steadily killing me, running my brain full of shame. I don't wanna lose it. I'm full of stage, trying to find